Hello, guys. Welcome back to Roller Coaster TV. Today we're going to be reviewing. It's our first ever podcast, and today we are going to be reviewing two awesome amusement parks. First, Holiday World. Second, Worlds of Fun in Kansas City, Missouri. And Holiday World is located in Santa Claus, Indiana, around southern Indiana.
Yeah. And also, we're going to have a little third segment that probably won't be very long, but we could be talking about a park we may or may not go to, just things that we might do there, and we'll just talk. We might have some reviews for that park coming up soon. Um, I do want to start with Holiday World, though, and off the bat, it's a fantastic theme park. It's number 2 out of 13 for me. I know it's your number 1.
Yeah, and that's going to sound a little surprising to you guys out there, but honestly, we're going to talk a little bit about it, but I'm just going to say I love Holiday World. And
I do too. I love it. I think I mean, I think they have quality over quantity. I still give the edge to Cedar Point just because of the atmosphere and the way that they I'm looking for the word. The way that they advertise their rides up there and the way they hype everyone up for things like Gatekeeper, Dragster, Raptor, Magnum, Maverick, and Millennium. I think those 6 roller coasters in particular really make that park my
oh
favorite.
yeah,
But Holiday World, 4 world class roller coasters. 4. I you remember if you remember our
and
reviews,
see
I
that
gave an A to all 4 of those roller coasters, an A minus or above. I gave none at Worlds of Fun. The highest I gave was Prowler, which was a B plus.
and this is why I think Holiday World could and Cedar Point and Holiday World were very close together. But my only problem with Cedar Point is that from where we live in St. Louis, it's kind of hard to get to. And
Well,
not hard to get to, but
it's like an 8 or 9 hour drive.
like Holiday World is like 3 hours
3 hours, and
and
if
we
you're
get to go there at least like twice a year. So I mean, it's a great deal for us. The tickets are cheap. It's family friendly. The water
free
park
parking,
free
free soda,
free
free
parking,
soft
free
drink.
soda, and you
Yeah,
don't have to pay
free
extra to get in the
pizza.
water park. I mean, it's just a great park, and that's why I love it so
It's
much.
very well
So
balanced.
yeah, very well balanced, a lot included, and that's just why I love Holiday World.
Well, that's great. Let's talk about the first day and how what we did the
Oh
first
yeah,
day.
oh
It
yeah.
was pretty funny. Um, so what we ended up doing the first day is it was threatening thunderstorms, and this is like a big tropical storm. This was not this small little thunderstorm that may or may not happen. We knew this was coming. Anyway, we uh, we booked at the Holiday World. It's raining, kind of drizzling, like raining somewhat hard, not super hard, but somewhat hard. And we get there, and we're like 4 miles away, and it's just torrential downpour.
Oh yeah,
My dad,
oh yeah.
he could barely see the road. Um, we pull into the parking lot, and it's downpouring, and
And we get out of the car,
we're debating whether to go or not because it's raining so hard. We get out of the
and I
car.
I went I specifically remember saying, no, this is going to be literally the best experience in an amusement park ever, almost ever. I'm saying this because I said that because I knew exactly that Voyage in the rain, Legend in the rain. We didn't get to Raven in the rain. I said no, let's just go straight to Legend and Voyage. But those were some of the best roller coaster rides I've
I
ever had.
remember we get out of the car and we see that Raven's going and there's 2 people in it, and
And
we
then
book it.
we booked
We
it.
book it to the front entrance, so we are literally like I have a raincoat on and I'm still getting wet underneath. And I remember my little sister had to buy a poncho in one of the stores up in Christmas up in the front. But we book it to Legend, and I had a backseat ride on that thing, and I'll tell you,
I remember.
Legend. I remember, like Legend's a great roller coaster. I love it, and I remember that is one of my favorite roller coaster rides I've ever had. Probably in my top 15 ever. And
And here's why.
that
You
is why
cannot
it's my
see a
top 15.
thing. You can't see a thing on it. Like there's rain going in your eyes, and it hurts, but it's like it's a good hurt. You know what I mean? It feels good because
Super intense, and
it's intense, and you just go right over those banks and hills and all that, and oh my, it's a spectacular
it's,
ride.
it's just fantastic. And this trip, Legend was outside of my top 10. It made it into number 10. I we'll talk about more Holiday World roller coasters that
Yeah.
are in my top 10, but Legend is my number 10 roller coaster on that list.
Yeah, no doubt.
I love it. Um, so we got two back-to-back rides on Legend in the Rain, which was just fantastic. Something that one of my favorite things about Legend is, you probably don't remember, but I do, is Legend has a good first drop. You go into the tunnel, there's like an airtime hill, and then like you kind of come up kind of by the water park, and then you do this bank that kind of comes down to the right,
Yes,
kind of
yes.
like
Oh, yeah.
kind of like a GCI first drop. And then after that, there's this speed hill that goes under one of the water slides that is just fantastic. I never remember that, and every time I rode it, I got just this insane amount of ejector air. Um, and then the rest of the ride, the Helix is great. I love the
Oh, yeah.
ending where you're kind of hopping around, and you're going left and right, then left, and then back around to the right, and you just get some great airtime.
Oh, yeah.
Legend's not an airtime roller coaster; it's more laterals.
Agreed.
And most people, I think, like Raven and Legend about the same. Or some people prefer Legend, some people prefer Raven. I prefer Raven ever so slightly over Legend. And I think you're the same way. Or you prefer it a lot more? You prefer it a lot more, or ever so slightly?
Raven over Legend.
Yeah.
I prefer Raven just a little bit more.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm in the same candidate.
And you know, just because I think Raven is just kind of like I rode Raven at night. I know you didn't.
I did not get a Raven ride at night, and I heard
I love it was great at night. You know, going over that lake, it was kind of cold. Going in the tunnel was kind of cold. It was really intense for that tiny of a roll. It's not a tiny roller coaster, but you know, for
Well, yeah, and I said in the review the reason for that, the highlight of that ride. I think you're probably gonna agree with me. I love the turn on Lake Rudolph, but it's that third drop. It's amazing because you gain
yeah.
all that speed. If you're in the back seat, there's just so much airtime. You're almost standing. It's fantastic. So Raven's my number 9. Legend and Raven are my 10 and 9. I prefer Legend in the front row, and I prefer Raven in the back row. I don't know if you're the same on that.
What were you saying? I'm sorry, I missed that completely.
I prefer Legend in the very front, and I prefer Raven in the back.
Oh yeah, because Legend can get a little bit on the rougher side, but
and it's not really rough. It's just the intensity of the laterals.
yeah, the intensity it kind of bangs you around a little bit.
But up front, I think
up front's a great ride. Yeah,
I think up front it's really good. The back's great too, but at times I think it can be like, okay, I think I've had enough.
Yeah.
Whereas up front, and it's also a lot. You know, Raven and Legend and Voyage, if they slam the bar down on you, it can get pretty bad because.
Oh yeah, I remember
the ride.
I remember Owen. I remember riding with your friend Will or whatever his name was, and I completely remember I was banging into his side, and there was a red mark on the side of his hip, and I said, "Well, Will, like
you got to sit up, buddy.
you gotta sit up, and you gotta pretend that." Here's a little trick for all you guys out there: kind of stand up and kind of go like this a little bit, kind of
stick your gut out. Yeah.
And there, you know, there's all teens working at those parks for the most part, teenagers, and they're kind of embarrassed to ask you, you know, can you please put your chest down? They'll probably just, I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
They're just probably gonna let it be. I mean, they don't really care. I mean, not to the extent where you put it out way too much, but you know what I mean. Like,
don't be ridiculous.
Don't be ridiculous, but like,
do it a little bit.
Do it a little bit,
especially on those coasters, because if you get it slammed, it's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt. They're that intense. Yes.
Yeah, and it's not just the laterals; it's the airtime too. If you get it slammed and you're going down that Raven third drop, your thighs are gonna kill because you were standing on that roller coaster.
Oh yeah.
On that ride. So I mean, those two rides are just outstanding. So we didn't do Raven until later in the day. And we can talk about how Raven wasn't the best the first day, but I don't really want to talk about that. It was great the second day. So
yeah. Let's not be negative here about one of our favorite coasters. I mean, see, and it was hard for me to put Raven over Legend because I love intense coasters. It was really
but they're both intense.
I mean, yeah, I agree they're both intense, but I just think Raven is a little bit more smoother. just slightly.
I not necessarily. I think the track on Legend is actually smoother, but
Yes, yes.
I think the
I think the
intensity of
intensity.
Legend makes
Yes,
Legend a little bit more
yes,
rough.
exactly. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
But I think what like track wise,
So
I think Raven is actually probably the
so
roughest of all of them.
yes, yes.
Even Voyage, I think Voyage is the smoothest wood coaster at Holiday World.
Yeah, and
I know
I don't
people.
even think it's that crazy how it's that smooth. I mean, I believe it. I mean,
It's okay. Let's talk about Voyage now, since
yeah,
we got into the discussion of smoothness.
yeah.
Some people disagree that Voyage is not smooth. It's not smooth.
No, it's not
It's not.
smooth,
It's not
but
supposed
it's
to be smooth.
definitely the smoothest wooden roller coaster at Holiday
Oh
World.
yeah. Oh yeah. And our dad will argue against that, but
Yes, my dad got completely beat up on that.
I think his back problems from golfing too much, and I think he doesn't like. I think the length kind of got him a little bit too. I think
Yeah.
that's probably the reason. But for me, we'll talk about Voyage at night a little bit later,
Yeah,
because
so-
for me that was the highlight of the trip. I don't
Yeah.
maybe I think that was probably for you too.
Oh yeah, it was. I remember. Just we'll talk about it.
We'll
later.
talk about it a little bit later. But Voyage in the rain, you did not get to experience a front row ride in the rain. Me and my friend Will did, and I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that's as close as you're gonna get to riding it at night. I mean, it was amazing. It was so amazing, and we rode Voyage in the front a few times during the trip. We rode it in the back. You prefer it in the back, don't you? I like them
Voyage, yeah.
both. I like them.
I like the front, but the airtime on that is so great, and like the banking, not the banking, but like the spaghetti roll or the spaghetti section or whatever you call.
Yeah.
Those like banks and those turns in that section are a lot better in the back, and I say that because it kind of whips you around, and you just kind of get
You
like
get the
airtime
yank.
on your side, basically.
You get the yank. I think the airtime in the front's great. Here's the draw. I think the first drop is much better in the back, and I think
Oh,
on
yeah,
most roller coasters like that, it's better. I think every first drop almost ever built is better in the back.
Yeah.
I think almost. I think there's a few maybe a few exceptions to that.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the dive coasters you could argue are better in the front, but I personally think almost every roller coaster has a better first drop in the back.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that Voyage ride in the rain is fantastic. And by the way, so I said my rankings for Raven was 9, and then Legend was 10. Voyage is my number 1. Voyage,
yeah,
I think I said that in my
easily.
video. I know for you it's not, but for me,
Voyage is my number 1.
it's not for you, but it's for me.
No, not my top, but definitely number 1 at Holiday World, but not for me.
Oh no, I'm talking about overall list. now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So where does it rank for you? 3 or
It's ranked
Or
number
maybe-
2. It's ranked number 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's ranked right behind Maverick at Cedar
Cedar
Point,
Point.
and
I-
ranked
for
right
me,
in front of
for me-
Montu Millennium Force at Busch Gardens and Cedar Point.
For me, Maverick, like Voyage is here, and then Maverick's here. Like there's a gap. It's not like it
Not
used to.
for me.
For me, it used-
Maverick and Voyage are close for me. Because-
really.
Oh yeah.
For me, like it used to be like that. Like it used to be like back and forth, but now those
I
rides
would
we
need
had
to
on that.
I would need to ride Maverick again.
But
I
for
would-
me, those rides on Voyage, I think, put it above. But
I
we'll talk about the night rides later.
Yeah.
The next thing we're going to talk about is the water park.
Oh yeah.
And this is why this day was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you've been to Holiday World before, you know the water park, especially Wildebeest, can
And
get
Mammoth.
long lines. Mammoth
And
and
Mammoth.
Wildebeest. Yeah, they both can get long.
And we got, walk-ons for like
Walk-ons.
we got
got
stuck on Mammoth. I remember.
So we got 2.5
We got
rides
2.5 rides on
on
Mammoth.
Mammoth, and then we got I think 4 or 5 on Wildebeest.
Yeah, in that one day.
So, and usually when I go to Holiday World, I get one on each because the lines are just too outrageously long to wait that.
Yeah.
So for me, Mammoth and Wildebeest are fantastic. They are so much fun. You can't experience that anywhere else. They're so unique to the industry. I know Six Flags is starting to add Thunder Rapids, that water coaster down at Fiesta, Texas, but I still think Wildebeest and Mammoth are going to be better just because they're probably going to clone that.
Mhm.
And not to say that's going to be a bad ride. It's probably going to be great. And there's rumors it's going to Six Flags St. Louis, which I'm kind of happy about. I know you're not really that thrilled, but I will say that wildebeest and mammoth are probably gonna be much better.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I also think that there's other good rides in their water park. Zimbabwe, there's the toilet bowls and everything. Like if a Six Flags park got that, that'd be like a big deal for them if they got like a Zimbabwe. Not a big deal, but it would necessarily mean, oh wow, they just added a pretty big investment in their water park. And I
Then they
think
are next year. I think they're going to next year. And I think I'm happy for them, and I'm happy they're not getting a free fly because I think that's another clone that we do not need. So, anyway, which one do you prefer, mammoth or wildebeest? I prefer one ever so slightly. I prefer wildebeest
I
ever
prefer
so slightly.
Mammoth because when I think of water parks, I think of like
Wet.
this might sound a little like corny and cheesy, but I think of like family fun time and not intensity and all that type of stuff. And that's my honest opinion. I think of like getting together with your family, riding a big raft ride together and stuff like that. I love
Oh,
wildebeest.
I love both
No
of them.
doubt. No, I'm not doubting wildebeest. No way. I love wildebeest. That's literally my second favorite water ride I've ever ridden. But
So, but is it like a big gap or is it just ever so
no,
slightly?
it's ever so slightly.
Uh,
And
um,
my reasoning behind that is like I said, family fun time. You get a big splashdown and wildebeest. There's like a. I just think,
wildebeest is more of a intense roll. It feels more like a roller coaster.
yeah,
Mammoth feels more like a water ride.
yeah.
You do get the drops that are great, and you get that if it's not every time, but sometimes you get that big wave that comes over you at the end.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
so
awesome.
much fun. Um,
Just laugh with your family, and I think that's one of the reasons I put Holiday World up there in my number one parks. It's a family fun park. I'm not kidding. Like it,
oh,
you
that's
guys
so
who haven't been there, it's literally my favorite
go
park.
go.
Out of out of like the 10, 11 parks I've been to, it is number one for me. Number one.
I mean, and like I said, I'm gonna mention something really fast. We have not been on that many roller coasters. I've been on 75. I think Danny's been on probably low 70s, right?
I've
Maybe
I've been I've been around 74, 75 as well.
around. I don't think you've been on as many as me, but we've been Cedar Point, Holiday World, Busch Gardens, both Busch Gardens, Kings Island, Silver Dollar City, and SeaWorld and Worlds of Fun. Those are 8 pretty good parks. Like we're not going to these little dinky parks that have a few coaster
No,
credits.
we've been to Cedar Point,
We've been
si-
to some of the big ones.
like
There's a few
Universal, and all those. Not the ones that like Universal. They have coasters, but they don't have like no
but it's a
Cedar
good
Point
park.
Magic Mountain
It's a,
coasters.
we
But
went to the Universal in California, not
no,
Florida, but the Disney Universal parks. They're still good parks. They
yeah,
still. I mean, there's one thing that's missing there, and that's roller coasters. But they do everything else almost flawlessly. So,
yeah, no
um,
doubt.
I'm gonna. So we talked about wildebeest and mammoth, and I prefer wildebeest ever so slightly. I know you prefer mammoth ever so slightly. I think wildebeest is more agile, and I think there's, if I will say, a little bit more airtime.
Hmm.
Uh, People like my dad and my friend and people who wrote us, they said that thing has an amazing airtime. I think it has pretty good airtime. I don't think it has. I think it's if we're gonna be classifying airtime, I think it's strong floater. I don't think it's ejector.
Oh
I
no, no.
I
I
think
think
I
there
think
might be like one pop of ejector in there or something like that when you go down into that. I
tunnel,
get, yeah, when you go down
but
that
I
tunnel.
don't think there's much.
No, there's not. There's not.
And the reason people probably think there is because you don't have a seatbelt.
Yeah.
So um, that yeah, that's that. Um,
Um. Let's talk about our night rides now and how they were.
Is there anything else we need to talk about, or Thunderbird? Let's talk about Thunderbird
Yeah,
real
we
quick.
haven't even talked
We
about
did that.
Thunderbird yet.
So we rode Thunderbird the first day, and I rode it back last year, and I really liked it. I thought it was great. I think it was in my top 17. And I'm gonna be honest, kind of like Raven, I think it was running a little sluggish the first day. And I know this is your first ever time riding it, so you loved it.
Yeah, and
I
I love I would. This might sound crazy, guys. I'm gonna be an honest, true fact right here. I love intense coasters more than airtime coasters, and you could go either way. You could like intense coasters, like airtime coasters, like floater
here's
airtime coasters, whatever. I like intensity better. I like feeling that rush of intensity, and the reason is because
launch. You love the launch.
the launch was so great on that coaster. That made it for me. That made it a great ride. It's
I love
short,
it.
yeah. Okay, like we said in our Thunderbird review, it's short. It doesn't make it a bad ride. It has
No, it
everything you
doesn't.
need.
It's complete. It's a complete
Yeah,
coaster.
it
It's
has
not
everything.
like Griffin or Dragster
Yeah,
or Accelerator at Knott's. it's a complete roller coaster.
Yeah.
You have 4 inversions, you have some overbanks, you got some good theming, you got some near misses. It has it all. It has it all. It just goes. The pacing is so excellent on it.
Yeah.
And I first day, like I said, I think it was running a little sluggish. The second day we rode it, I really liked it.
Oh yeah, I gotta tell you
You
a
know,
story really quick. When
okay.
I went up into that, that second loop that we got here, the second inversion, just which is a normal loop, I blacked out.
Oh my gosh,
I
great.
completely blacked out because the
Yeah,
sun was right in my eyes and I was going so fast. I grayed out, blacked out, whatever you want to call it, and it was fun. I loved it.
it's the best wing coaster. I mean, I like Gatekeeper is my number 29 overall, but Thunderbird is so much far and beyond that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's my number 14 on my list.
Yeah.
And this is gonna sound kind of critical of the ride, but it's not. It just shows how good Holiday World is. Thunderbird is my least favorite of the big roller coasters at Holiday World. I know it's your second favorite,
No, see, I'm still debating between Raven and Thunderbird.
but you like it better than Legend.
I do like,
I
yes,
don't.
that's for sure. I like it better than Legend, but I'm still thinking on that one. I might even have to
I
ride it
don't,
again.
but I still really like it. So Thunderbird first day wasn't. I liked it. I thought it was a good ride, but maybe I was kind of like tired that day or something. And that day, but the second day we rode it, I loved it. And it is pretty forceful. And I put it in the caliber of things like your Banshees and your Alpine guys
Yeah, yeah.
and your Mantas. Like I put it in those decently intense B&M looping coasters. And like I don't think it's quite Kumba and Montu. I think those are the two
And those
best
are my favorite type of coasters, those B&M looping coasters. I love the intensity.
intensity.
My one of
You have
my
not been to
first
Kumba
my
though.
I have not been on Kumba. It was
It was
closed.
close. It was close when he went. When we went that one time, but me and my dad got to ride Kumba last year. I loved it. It's my I still think Montu is a little bit better,
My personal favorite is Montu. My personal favorite roller coaster.
but you like Voyage and Maverick better.
Yeah,
You think
yeah.
Voyage and Maverick are better?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um. So let's talk about something that we did to win a front seat ride the second day on Wildebeest, like
Yeah.
a skip the line pass.
Yeah.
So there's this
So
game.
there. First off, there is no fast passes or flash or whatever you want
I
to
don't
call them.
think there are
Skip the line passes at
fast.
Holiday World,
I don't think there is that.
like there is at Cedar Fair and that Six Flags is.
And
No,
but
there's not. But we won a skip the line pass. Doing this game called Plinko. It's just like normal Plinko, the games you play where you drop a ball in or drop a little, puck in and it goes down. And one of my sister's friends won a skip the line pass for 7 people.
on
And
Wildebeest,
I
it
think
was
that's
great.
I think that's awesome. It was like $4 or $5 to play. That's a total deal. And it was on our second day.
And
It
you
was
got one
hot.
cotton candy and
Yeah.
other snacks. I mean, it was
Like,
great.
Well, the point we're getting to is that they have cheap games. They have cheap almost everything, and it's still a great park.
The
No.
food's not, and the food. I mean, it's not the best food. It's
Yeah,
like
no, it's not.
it's not
It's
the best,
amusement park food.
but it's fine. It's
Yeah.
good. It's better than I think it's better than Cedar Fair and Six Flags.
Oh yeah,
I think there's some Cedar Fair that are pretty good. Like I love the Chick-fil-A at Cedar Point and Kings
yeah, but
Island.
there are some downs to Cedar Fair like Chicky Pete's. Like we'll explain that later. It doesn't
we'll explain that later. Some people really like that. Anyway, let's talk about our night rides on Voyage. I'm gonna start with this. So I've been on Beast at night and Maverick at night, and I've been on Voyage at night prior to this. But when I rode Voyage at night, it was like 8:30, 8:45, so it wasn't really that dark. It was kind of dark, where it would be cold in the tunnels, but it wasn't pitch black.
Yeah.
This park closed at 10 this night, so we literally book it over here around 9. We get 3 or 4 rides back to back on Voyage at night. Those are the best roller coaster rides I've ever had. I mean, it's not like I love Maverick, but it's not even a question. Like it's that middle section of Voyage in the dark. Even though it's mostly laterals, there are parts where it kind of leaps and does it like it kind of leaps and does a
see,
turn. At the same
that right there is my problem with Voyage at night. And I'm not saying that Beast is a better ride at night. I'm saying that, Maverick could potentially be a better ride at night through that launch tunnel. And I'm saying that because, Voyage, I just like if I'm gonna ride a wooden coaster, I'm not the lateral fan. I am the airtime fan.
I know, but no, and I'm gonna prove a point to you.
You still get those pops of airtime. Yes, you definitely do.
Voyage has the best airtime of any roller coaster I've been on. It
Yes,
has the most and the
here's
best.
the thing: the first like two drops, well, basically the first drop you can see still. You're still in that Thanksgiving
The
section
first,
a little
okay,
bit.
Voyage has three parts. It has the out and back, it has that spaghetti bowl, and then it has the return run. The return run and the out and back section, parts of it you can't see, but most of it you can see. The middle section,
That's
you
my problem with the Beast. I wish it was like way back in the forest. I'm not trying to be like
it's back
unrealistic
in the
here.
forest. It's back in the forest.
Oh no! Oh yeah!
But
Oh, the
it's
spaghetti
not
bowl is.
it's not as good. Raven and Beast, I think, are a little bit
Yeah.
more
See,
secluded.
and this is what I'm telling you. I think you should have rode Raven, and you would have a more clear mindset on what Voyage is like at night.
I loved. I think that middle section is the best section on any roller coaster ever that I've been on because I had no idea where I was going. Like like so you think like I know the layout, but you're on your side and you're getting those laterals, but then you think you're going to get laterals, but then there's an airtime hill and you fly out of your seat.
Yeah.
Like I was just I loved that.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the triple down. Like, no, it wasn't Hollywood Nights. The brakes weren't off, but that third drop in that tunnel, you cannot see anything. You can't see anything in that tunnel at night.
That's true. Yeah.
And you're not going very fast, but they just keep getting bigger and bigger, and the point where you're standing. And that, I mean, I don't know. I was speechless after that first ride I had in it, and then it was just as good. Those
And I
other
said,
few
let's go ride it again. I'm not hating on it. I just think
He loves it, but he thinks you think the Beast is a better night ride. I don't.
I don't think the Beast is a better night ride. No,
about the
I think-
same.
about the same because I think the Beast beats you up a lot. I just think that
They
if,
both do.
I
They both
wanted
do.
what I wanted. This is my dream. This is my
You
yeah,
wanted that thing to be pitch black the entire time. I get
wanted
it.
Voyage where Beast was.
You want to put yeah.
That's
I-
my
I-
dream.
I-
That's
I
what I'm
think-
thinking in my head
I
right
think
now.
I think you get that on Voyage, just not the entire ride. But that doesn't bother me. I know it bothers you a little bit, but I still think Voyage is the best night ride at roller coaster ride. Period. I do not think there's no comparison for me. So, it was just outstanding. Once you hit those tunnels on those out and back hills, you can't see a thing, and it was just amazing. So for me, that was amazing. That was the end of our Holiday World trip. I loved it. It's that and Cedar Point are my two favorite places. Those are my two favorite trips. That Holiday World trip there and that Cedar Point trip. So, how about we talk about Worlds of Fun now? I
Yeah,
think we
let's
need
get
to move
started.
on. So Worlds of Fun, we were on our way to Colorado for a family trip, and we decided to stop at Kansas City to go see Worlds of Fun and go ride the rides there. Um, you know, I wasn't expecting a whole lot because it's not the weakest Cedar. I think it's in the middle of the Cedar Fair parks. I think things like Kings Dominion, Kings Island,
And Cedar Point.
Carowinds and Cedar
Yeah.
Point, and even maybe Knott's and Canada's Wonderland, I think are probably better parks. But then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
probably this. So our first ride of the day is on Patriot, and Patriot looks amazing.
Yeah, okay. We were walking in the parking lot and we were like, wow, like the theming looks great.
That thing looks amazing.
The thing
We-
looks like it hauls ass, and like I mean,
It looks great.
I hopped on that thing. We literally sat in the worst possible spot on
Terrible.
Patriot.
It was the
We
second
sat the second seat,
second seat. Horrible. That was. I mean,
and
and
I was
it
like,
wasn't a bad ride.
I was dizzy. I felt sick. I was upset. Inverts are my favorite type of roller coasters.
It's not intense. It was not intense at all.
It was unintense. It
Thunderbird's
was.
intense in it.
Yeah.
Hands down it is.
Oh yeah. No
I
doubt.
was very disappointed with it. Thankfully, later in the day, we got a backseat ride, and we said, okay, this is pretty good. This is decent. This is a pretty good ride. I think I put it on par with the Batman clones,
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
ever so slightly above.
I think
but-
it's a little bit better. Yeah.
I rank it third at Worlds of Fun. I think you rank it third too.
Yeah. I rank it third.
Then after that,
we
we
went
ride Timberwolf.
Timberwolf, and I thought it was gonna beat the living hell out of me.
A little
wa-
bit, not too
It
bad.
wasn't that bad.
Not very intense though.
No.
Not very intense.
And
It's
that's really all we need to say about Timberwolf.
a pretty weak wooden roller coaster,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
all
not.
we need to say.
It's okay. It's kind of eh.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
then after that, we head over to your favorite ride in the park, and you have a T-shirt from it,
Yeah. Right here. This is my T-shirt. Mamba,
Mamba.
baby. Mamba. Yeah, that's right. I loved Mamba. You know, and I think part of
Where
the
does it
reason
rank? Where does it rank?
it ranks for me, I think it's. Let me check. I think it is Mamba, Mamba, Mamba. Mamba ranks for me number 10.
10.
10.
I think I have a theory of why you have it so
And
high.
I think I do too.
I
I've
think
not
you have
ridden a
a
hyper
hyper.
coaster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you haven't ridden a
I
hyper.
haven't ridden hyper in a long
I
time.
rode Manta over Chris. I rode not Manta, Mako over Christmas. And for me, it's nowhere even close. It's 30.
It's
It's
because I
a good
haven't ridden a
ride.
hyper coaster in a while, and you know I'm not upset with that. You know, once I get on, like if we go to Kings Island this summer, which we, you know, it's a potential. Like we're gonna talk about it in the end of this video, and I hop on Diamondback. Oh yeah,
You're
oh
probably gonna like it
I'm
10
gonna put
better.
I'm gonna put Mamba in like 19 or 20, maybe not even there.
You know, so uh, I'm not saying I don't like Mamba. It's 30 on my list. That's still pretty good. That's still a good. That is still a really good roller coaster. I'd probably give it an 8. I think I gave it a B plus,
And
like 8.5.
I
I
really
still
liked
love it.
that first drop. It's kind of a strange first drop. Like
Well, because the angle of descent on that like little first little like few like
you kind of hang there for a
20
little bit.
feet, you kind of go like this
You
and
kind
then
of
kind of go
hang
steeper.
there, and then you just yeah, you hang there for a little.
It's a good first. It's a pretty fun first drop, and then you got the big like another big hill. Doesn't give much airtime, but you get that bit. Then you get that big turnaround, and then you get
Yeah.
the bunny hill going back, which it's really it's decent floater air at best. I think it's pretty mild. I think it's has some good speed, some good height, and some fun airtime. I wouldn't say it's the best. I would not say Mamba
Oh, no.
has the best airtime.
No way.
But the height and the speed and the smoothness do get it in my top 30. So it's not my favorite ride in the park. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But
Yeah.
after we rode Mamba, we rode a water ride. We rode the rapids. We didn't really talk about that. It was fun,
No.
but it was like, eh.
It was nothing special, but
And then we rode. When did we
then
ride after?
no, we didn't ride. No, we rode that one dark ride or that spinny dark ride. And here's what I'm
What
gonna
was,
say.
what was that called?
It was like I can't remember.
What was that? Cyclone Sam's.
Yeah, and
That was a weird ride. It was
that
really
was
sketchy.
one rear ride. That was sketch. That was.
I didn't know. I don't know what to think of that. I'm just gonna
Let's
say I
just
don't
not.
know.
Yeah, let's
Let's
just
just
not.
It was just weird. But
And
you might like it if you go. I thought it was. I mean, for what it did, I think it was fine. But I don't really have an opinion on it, honestly.
just go
Um,
ride it if you're dying to ride it.
I recommend it. It's quite an experience.
Before we move on, I do want to talk about one thing, one complaint in this park. You probably know what it's going to be. Are the operations?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh.
They are so slow. They are
well, not
ridiculous.
that. It's that, and also
They run one train on each ride, one or two trains.
okay.
One,
I
there was one
understand.
train on Patriot.
I
There
understand
was
one train on.
There's one train on Mamba, the longest ride in the park.
You need.
And
I would put 3. Honestly,
I put
It's
3.
so-
Yes,
yeah.
it's a long ride, and
Only one I understand is Timberwolf and Boomerang. Those are the only two that I think one train would be fine.
Prowler
but
had one.
Prowler needed 2. Prowler needs 2.
Yes.
They all need 2 except I think Timberwolf's the only one because that didn't get a very long line. But that's one big complaint. And I have one more complaint, and you know where I'm going. I think you know where I'm going
Oh,
with
yeah.
this. So when we went to Cedar Point, we went to this Chicky and Pete's restaurant, which is a bar.
It's like a chain that they have in Philadelphia or whatever.
I was fine. It was fine. I
Oh,
got
yeah.
a burger and fries. I thought it was better than average theme park food. I thought it was pretty good.
And then we
The
go
way it's set up here.
the way.
is-
Okay, so the way it's set up at Cedar Point was, you know, you sit down, you get a waiter, you order your food, you know, and I think I got and a beer. You know, it's good for amusement park, but like we go to this Worlds of Fun one. I'm like, yes, I'm so
We're
excited.
excited.
You know, they have these crab seasoned fries or something like
They're
that.
pretty good.
And they're pretty good. You know, I'm not a huge food critic or whatever, like amusement food
I
critic,
thought they were pretty good.
but they were good. But
I mean, they're good at Worlds
and
of Fun too.
we come here, There's
There's
two things.
crab fries, and chicken
Nacho.
fingers and nachos were the three things that were on the menu. There was like maybe
That's it.
one or two
No,
more.
no, there wasn't even one or two more, Owen.
There wasn't.
No, it was that's it and a soft drink, and that's all you get.
And not only that, we spent like $80 there, almost $100 for that. That was the issue,
It was,
and we should have walked out of line. And
I told you,
didn't-
Owen. I
we
told
didn't
you.
we
I
didn't say
told
anything.
you. I told my brother, guys. I told him, you know what?
This looks sketchy.
It looks sketchy. It doesn't look like the one at Cedar Point. You know, we're kind of in the hood here. No, not really.
No.
I'm
But
just kidding.
I mean, and my dad wants a beer, and he screws it up somehow, and the lady presses the thing, and it cancels everything.
Yeah.
It was just bad. And then the amount of food that they give us is just ridiculous. My chicken fingers were like, they were bad. I liked them, but for the amount of money and food we got, it was just not worth it.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So I do not recommend chicken and pizza at Worlds of Fun, even if you've been to the one at Cedar Point.
Nope.
So don't go to it. After that, we head over to my favorite ride in the park, and I know it's your second favorite by a little bit, but not by much.
Yeah.
That's Prowler. I think for both of us, it was a little underwhelming. I think I hyped it maybe
Yeah.
a little bit too much.
You hyped it a lot, Owen. I'm telling you. I was
Now,
pretty excited.
hold on a second. People out here are watching this. You have to understand, we just literally went to Holiday World a few weeks before this, and those wooden coasters there
Are
are
different.
so outstandingly good that we had a pretty high expectations for Prowler. I had expectations for it to beat Raven and Legend.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
nowhere close.
No
It's
way.
nowhere close. I love
The first half, yeah.
The first half is
great.
really good. The second half is very similar to American Thunder, which isn't bad,
Yeah.
but it loses its intensity, I think, a little bit quicker than I wanted it to.
Never got to ride any of the rides at night. I only think the only good one would have probably been Prowler.
And I think if we would have rode it at night, we'd have been like, okay, this is a legit ride.
Yeah.
And it is. I gave it a B+. I don't think it's world class.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be. I think it's one of the better.
I was a little bit upset with Worlds of Fun, though. I thought that,
You didn't like it?
it was kind of more of a Six Flags feel than a Cedar Point feel.
Well,
Than a Cedar Fair feel.
no, I think it was nicer than the Six Flags.
I mean, yeah, but like,
I think it is. I understand where you're coming from. But I still think there's some nice plants, and there's some nice, like, the sections are laid out there, like the Africa theme and the Chinese theme and the American. Like, I thought that was pretty neat. So I think it met expectations, that park.
all right, thanks for watching, guys, and
Hold on a second.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. So do you want to talk about anything else at Worlds of Fun, or you think we're good?
No, I think we're good.
The boomerang. Let's talk about the boomerang. I don't know, was it just me, or was the boomerang awful? I mean,
it was
awful.
terrible. I hated it. It was not a good ride at all.
Yeah, it was it was horrible. So let's move on to the Kings Island discussion. In a few weeks, we may be going there, and I'm pretty excited to go there if we do, because we've been there before, and Misty Timbers, I'm pretty excited for. However, I am skeptical just because Prowler was not by a lot, but a little bit underwhelming. But I am excited because I've heard it's the most intense GCI, so that makes me a little bit excited.
And I'm pretty excited to ride Beast at night again. I just want to get a good feel for it. I mean,
all of them are.
yeah.
I think all the top four: Diamondback, Beast, Banshee, Misty Timbers will all be great at night. I'm really, if we go there, we'll put some reviews up, and we'll maybe do a podcast about it. But I think we've been going pretty long now. I think we should maybe wrap this up.
Yep. Thanks, guys, and make sure you leave a comment below, and suggest any other videos that you want to see from us. We're always open to suggestions, and email us, whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.